All right, welcome to the podcast. This is Unfiltered Pineapple. I'm your host, Platypus, joined by Orik and Dean. We're going to be doing another tier list today. We're going to be talking about red flags.
What's up,
So,
everybody? Isn't that how Anthony does it? He just cuts in with a "What's up, everybody?"
it sounds very Anthony.
Yeah,
You got the influx right, that's for sure.
yeah. What's up, everybody? Okay, he's gonna get pissed.
It'll be all
Yeah,
right.
red flag tier list. I'm excited for this one.
All
Yeah,
right.
all you people that date or have significant others, um, we'll give you our
Transferring
thoughts of
sentiments.
what's healthy or what's good or what's tolerable or what the issues are. I guess we'll do it quick. We got a massive tier list, and we're doing something different today. Sorry, Platypus, I didn't mean to cut you off. We're gonna try and screen share at everything. So in a few minutes, we'll pull up the tier maker list that we found online for this, and that way we don't have to just uh use describe it in words constantly, because otherwise we're repeating a lot of phrases and it's gonna get confusing. So yeah, Platypus, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I was just playing off of you shaming everyone being in relationships and just like transferring cooties and shit. That's all.
Yeah,
That's all.
cooties are the worst.
That's a deal breaker right there.
I'm still recovering from cooties right now.
Be careful out there.
Yeah. It's not the flu. That's definitely not what it is. So, or from raw chicken. Anyways,
All right, how do we want to do this? I guess does that say smoking? Do we just go like left, right, top, bottom?
yeah, if that's what we want to do, or if one catches your eye, we can jump to it ahead because they seem to be in groupings. Like types of movies, that kind of stuff. But we can start with, down the list and just go from there.
All right, cool.
Yeah. All right. So the first one on the list. Oh, what are the categories? Go ahead and list them off, Platypus, with
Sure. So for our red flag tier list, you've got deal breaker, bright red flag, bad but manageable, code orange, not awful, I guess yellow, sort of like caution. Then we added our own like this is an issue little category because I mean we skimmed some of these and they I don't know they all didn't sound so bad. Then
that's the
there's
neutral zone. Yeah, that's
yeah, and then right after that we've got doesn't really matter, another kind of yellow one, kind of a good thing, starting to get green, and then a definite good thing, so all the way green. But yeah, we've got a pretty flexible scale here.
green like the neon She-Hulk. So
She who shall not be named.
Megan Stallion. uh, all right. Well, the first one on the list, so we can get started, because it's a massive list. Is smoking.
I mean, I don't really care. I mean, I'm assuming we're just talking about like
We're
cigarettes and
talking
stuff, which I'm
cigarettes.
not.
I don't think vaping's on the list. We haven't looked at, but I'm assuming they mean uh,
Smoking is
cigarettes.
smoking, not
Yeah,
vaping.
cigarettes. Yeah, they would say vaping. So we're talking good old cigarettes.
I don't know. I guess I'd put it in not full. I'm not really a fan myself, but you do you.
For me, that's a deal breaker.
Oh
Bad
shit.
but bad but manageable.
It's a deal breaker for me because I actually get really sick off of secondhand smoke or smelling it. Like it physically starts making me nauseous, so I just can't deal with that for long.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't deal with the second hand. I'd have to be outside and or away from it.
Yeah. Oh, this is a big list. Should we? How about Well, okay, so where are we putting smoking first?
I guess we could do bad but manageable.
Yeah, I guess because you guys are okay with
That's
that.
that's the middle ground.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't specify like 6 packs a day. It could just be one cigarette every week or something. Someone who just has it once when they're stressed. So that's why I
Yeah,
said
that's
bad
true.
but
That's true.
manageable.
I was
Yeah,
saying for this list, should we have one where we all get like a golden buzzer thing where we just decide this is where it goes on the list and this is the one that the other two are not allowed to argue against?
that's a great idea. I'm in favor of that.
Yeah, shit.
All right,
Let's do it.
cool. All right, I'm using it on
But
smoking and putting it in. Just no. I'll keep it in bad but manageable. I can understand that. And
I'm
if
gonna
they're
use
trying to break the habit or they have nicotine patches, I understand that. Personally, though,
I'm
it's
gonna
just a real issue.
I'm gonna use my golden buzzer on top of yours. We're gonna
I'm
change
gonna
it.
counter yours.
All right, let's keep this moving. We've got a long list to go through.
true. Thirst for anime man or
Woman,
woman. I
yeah,
mean,
woman.
I'm gonna say I don't like that. All right. I mean, like it's one thing if you're watching a show, and I guess some characters can look or be drawn kind of hot, but I don't know. I just like it doesn't do it for me personally. I'm not gonna kink shame, but I'm also not really into the whole like waifu anime body pillow thing either. So
Husbando, husband foo, whatever it's called.
yeah,
You don't got yourself a good 2D man platypus staring at you in
nah,
the bedroom
nope,
with those
not my
flat
bedroom.
eyes. Those pinpoint eyeballs.
Nah, I'm good actually,
All right.
but yeah, I don't like. I guess I don't know. It's either gonna be bad but manageable or a deal breaker because the way that, at least in my head, this sounds like it's kind of serious. Like they don't have a celebrity crush; they just want to like fuck some dude from the Hidden Leaf Village, and I don't know.
No one in particular. We're not specifying any particular characters. Um,
Yeah, we're not sponsored. We
by
can't we can't
Naruto,
admit.
yeah. By Rock Lee. Um, for me, that doesn't really matter. I if that's what they enjoy, it's whatever. They can have crushes. It's like having crushes on characters in TV shows or movies. Not even the actor, just the character. They're like, I really like that character's arc, or whatever, something like that. They just could really connect with a type of story line. You know what I mean? So for me, it doesn't really
Yeah,
matter.
I'd say it's not awful. I'm not. It'd be more negative connotation than that, if anything. But it's nothing worse than not awful for me.
What did you say again, Platypus?
I said either bad but manageable or deal breaker. I mean, I guess it depends on
Okay.
how obsessive it is. If it's, I guess I don't know.
So
If
we
it's a chill, or what were you gonna say?
so we can slide it into not awful then, or
Yeah, that should work, I guess.
that's middle between you and I, and that's what yeah, that's just the middle. So
All
I
right,
would
that
say
works.
I would just like to point out real quick, looking ahead, a bunch of these, if they're in the extreme, are just a deal breaker right away. So I think a middle ground approach, like something casual, would probably be the best approach.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think thinking of these in the extreme is going to help too much.
Yeah.
Like the next one, sex addict.
Well, I mean, an addiction is never a good thing.
definitely a good thing. Oh, hold on a second. What?
I mean,
If it's
start
with me,
out as a
yeah.
good thing.
If it's for me, yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's true. Sex addicts are notorious for being cheaters. Yeah. Definitely a good thing. Gives me a reason to blame them and not me. Um No, no.
That's a deal breaker for me.
Being a sex addict.
Yeah.
I mean, any kind of addict.
Any kind of so
There's a difference between being like a nympho, just
yeah, there's a different yeah.
hypersexual being, and a sex addict.
Yeah. And no shame against anyone with an addiction. It's definitely a mental hurdle that people have to resolve and come to terms with, because any addiction is an addiction, and just what causes it is the only difference. Like having a sex addiction and a drug addiction or uh, stuff like that is all, it all triggers the same parts of the brain. So um, no shaming for that. However, when starting out a relationship, unless you're just one of those people that have a saint-like tolerance and can get through it and willing to work through that, it's, I would definitely say, bad but manageable at best for being a sex
Yeah,
addict. Because otherwise, again, that goes on to like, are they cheating? They probably have had a history of cheating if they're a sex addict. How long is our relationship gonna last? Is it just for sex? You know,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I could easily put it as like a deal breaker or bad but manageable. Where, yeah, one of those two. I guess bad but manageable. Like, I guess keeping an
personally,
open mind and that it could,
personally,
turn out.
yeah, I think it's funny that I would take a sex addict over someone who smokes a cigarette. Just based on, you know, what would have been funny is if we all made our own tier list and compared them. What the hell do you mean definitely a
About each
good?
other.
What do you the hell do you mean definitely a good thing for Slap's child? Um, all right. The next one then, hot chips, spicy food. Ooh, someone who likes spicy snacks.
That's at least kind of a good thing.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I I would too. I wouldn't think this is an issue. It's not as though they're giving you spicy food for everything you eat.
Actually, yeah. Is this when we would use our category of this is an issue? Just because someone had, like, it's one thing
Well,
if you're allergic or you can't physically touch some spices, you know, like you have to stay away from red chili or whatever, you know, or else you break out in rashes. It's like, well, they only eat that kind of stuff. But in general, why would this be an issue? It's like saying, oh, do you prefer chicken over turkey? It's like, is that really an issue?
If this is the thing that makes or breaks a relationship, there's something else going on.
No,
Like
there's
if you're
something wrong with you, not
yes,
them.
yeah,
yes.
if you're sitting there, if you're sitting there at bed thinking, "Oh my God, they like spicy food. I just can't do it anymore."
Maybe their partner would just like chomp on some ghost chilies and then go down on them. But outside of that really specific scenario, I don't understand why this is a deal breaker.
Yeah, if that's their kink and they just really love taking the one chip challenge before they give oral, man or woman, I can see why that might be a problem or bad but manageable, like with some ice or whipped cream follow up. But
Ooh.
oof, where was I going? Sorry, I got distracted. Yeah, I don't see why this would be an issue. Just because someone prefers, it's like saying someone's favorite chip is, you know, they just prefer Bugles or over Doritos. It's like, is that really like a deal breaker? So, anyways, well, so I think Orik and I said this is an issue? Question mark. You good with that, Platypus?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
All right, cool beans. Next one, a big hot topic. The Office fan.
I mean, yeah, how is that an issue? I mean, even if you don't like the show, unless they're like an obnoxious super fan, how is that a problem?
I mean, if you're watching the whole show start to finish every month, I mean, good for you. That's where you get your enjoyment. If we can come to an agreement where you do that in your free time and I'm not sitting there with you the whole time, we can keep talking. You know, if that's just what you do in your free time when you're alone, is you just rerun The Office, cool. I'll be watching other stuff in my free time or doing other stuff, you know, as long as it's not like harmful. Um, I would say it doesn't really matter. I've seen The Office start to finish once. I'm content with seeing it start to finish once. If I need to catch anything else, I'll just play a quick clip or episode and be like, "Oh, that's right." But I'm kind of a one and done for TV shows and movies kind of person. I don't rerun. I don't do reruns. So for me, it doesn't really matter. It's just not ideal. Where do you guys Where you guys at?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter to me. It's either it's a niche topic. If people like it, they like it. It's a fandom.
Yep, I agree. Like, I'll even watch some of it. Like I liked it. I'd watched it start to finish once. I'm not obsessed, but it was a good show, and I'll probably see it again.
I understand the appeal of it. Yeah, maybe in like 10 more years I'll watch it again. So every 20 years, but uh,
Right.
I don't know. We'll see. Well, the next on the list is Friends fan, and then there's Walking Dead fan. Are we just gonna
Oh,
put
yeah.
that under doesn't really matter? Also,
A
Oh, you
Friends
can put
fan is not
Walking
all.
Dead.
That's
Friends fan. I was gonna
Friends.
say I put it not awful, but
Same here. Yeah.
That's fine.
all
I've
right.
never watched it. I
Friends,
don't care.
friends, friends fanatics are worse than the Office fanatics, and Walking Dead fan I'll put with the Office fan.
I'm
Yeah, I
fine with
mean,
that.
I just question their taste in TV a little bit, but that's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
a Friends fan. It's not awful, but it's definitely worse than being a fan of those other shows. Um, yeah, I have no comment. I'll admit I haven't watched Friends start to finish, or like I've only seen a couple episodes, and I pretty much understand the characters. And yeah, that's it. That's all I need to say. I know the big story beats. People talk about it too much. Um, the characters are creepy and not entirely the best relationships. That's not really friends. So that's my opinion.
Friends with benefits, right? Or is that the
That's
point?
that's a chunk of it. That's not all of it. It's not the healthiest of relationships. It's definitely '90s stuff. So
Nice.
nice, yeah. What? Um, Netflix original Fanatic.
That's also
That,
like 90s stuff, right?
Netflix, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Netflix has a lot of junk, and then there's like a very small number of hidden gems on there.
They didn't
I
all
guess
used to be
it doesn't
junk though.
matter.
They used to be a decent bag, mixed bag of it. Lately, it's been going up downhill. Is definitely the public opinion. Um,
Yeah.
you know what? They're trying new things. In my opinion, that doesn't really matter. That's where I would put it. I'm willing to move, and I'm just putting it right there so I don't forget. um,
I'm
Yeah,
of the
that's
same
fine.
opinion.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're not watching The Office a dozen times. They're just like, hey, let's see what this show is like. They don't like it. My significant other is like that. They're just like, they just put on something random sometimes. They're like, let's just see what this is. I don't like it, and then they watch something else. There's nothing wrong with that. They're just looking for new ideas, something they haven't seen before. I think I would say that's kind of a good thing. But maybe not. But not for Netflix originals. Just trying a bunch of new stuff. So
So maybe it just doesn't really matter, I guess.
Yeah, keep it there.
Attraction to serial killers. I mean, that's a little concerning.
Is this an issue?
Yeah,
Yeah,
how often does it
at this
happen?
point, yeah, at this point, if they know there's a serial killer, they know who it is. And in theory, they've already been arrested or dead.
uh,
So is there really an issue here?
Platypus, be careful here. Our relationship hangs on the line.
All right, that only made me a little uncomfortable.
Just not
Um,
awful. Okay. Platypus is not my significant other. I just, as a friend, I'll judge you harshly based on my based on your decision here.
yeah, I mean, the serial killers thing is a little strange. I don't know. I don't see how that's an issue, but I could see how it would also be uncomfortable.
So I
I
think
haven't really
I
heard
think
this.
attraction to serial killers. I I'm one of those people that listens to podcasts or documentaries and all that and researches a bunch of serial killers. I'm not
It
attracted to
is.
them. I'm just interested in the headspace and just the not the humanity of it, but these are actual people. How did they get there? You know, these kind of conditions and mental hurdles or conditions, roadblocks they hit that got them to this point. Patterns. I'm interested in that. I'm not attracted to any of them though. There are people that are actually attracted to serial killers. So like
Like Ted Bundy
Ted
shit.
Bundy, because he was a handsome man, and even though he's in jail, people are like, get him out. He's too pretty to be out there. Like, we have evidence and video of him doing stuff. It's like, well, who cares? He's a pretty man. Like,
Yeah, the rules don't apply if you're sexy,
yeah,
apparently.
no, they don't. So that's I think what attraction to serial killers is more about actual physical attraction to them. Like, oh, Or
Yeah,
I wouldn't really say it's about them being a serial killer, but them being a serial killer does not detract from their interest in them. It's like, oh, that's his name. That's pretty cute. You know what I mean?
I
Oh
think
yeah,
you lost
I agree.
me at the end.
Say what?
I think you lost me at the end.
Oh, I just meant like serial killers. Like, oh, I'm a software engineer. Oh, I'm a construction worker. Oh, I'm a serial killer. It's like just a job description, a tag.
Uh,
They just don't care. So that kind of attraction, I don't know.
It's
well,
my
that
it's my
seems
nine
like
it's
a
my nine to
flexible.
five.
Yeah, that's my 11. That's my graveyard shift.
Uh,
Um,
I guess at least they're driven.
no, we're not the serial killers. We're talking about your significant other is attracted to
Someone
the.
who's they're attracted to someone who's motivated. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That is drive. That's someone who gets a job done. Um,
They like someone with a purpose, and they like someone who meets their goals. It gives me reason to work. It gives me reason to work harder. I don't think this is an issue. If anything, it doesn't really matter.
Plot twist.
so where do you guys rank it? I'm trying to think.
I've kind of moved up. It doesn't really matter now. I used to say it was not an issue, but I'm going to say it doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah. What about you, Platypus?
Either that or this is an issue, I guess, for work.
So what's your tiebreaker, Dean?
I'll say this is an issue? Question mark. I don't know. I
Okay.
guess I have to think about it more. That doesn't really seem like an issue. It's just definitely something like, why do you find these people attractive? But that's not an issue. They're not trying to be a serial killer. I guess that's maybe what they're trying to get at. I'm not sure. I mean, there's plenty of people, men and women, that are interested in the bad person type or the jock type or something. So that I feel like it's something like that. You know, they like a troublemaker. I don't know, but they
A
don't
bad boy.
Yeah, but they don't imitate them. So, next one, girls who say "bruh," definitely a good thing.
I don't. I've only seen this happen once out in the wild, so I don't really have much of an opinion.
I usually hear it. I don't usually see it, but
Bruh.
I've been texted it.
Was it in like a car fender bender, or was this
You,
just
you,
like walking and talking platypus like
usually
in the
it's
mall?
usually they hang around with too many guys. I guess is what that implies.
Oh man.
Too many like.
Doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, I don't really care that much.
I would say
So
this. I would say it doesn't really matter. This is an issue because it's like that's just how they talk. That's how they raise. What if they always like? I don't know. It's kind of like what if they had a. I was gonna say a weird laugh, but I don't think weird laugh is on here. A weird laugh should definitely be on here. Yeah, a weird laugh is definitely an issue. Girls who say "bruh," like they could drop that
don't
at any
care
point.
about
Yeah,
that.
it just depends on the environment they are with and their friends. So that's that. Is that really an issue?
No.
Yeah. So, what are pick me boys or girls?
Pick me, pick me, pick me, coach, coach, coach. That kind of stuff.
There are adults that do that.
Maybe it's more in like their mentality
You
or
also
how
have to
they
remember
carry themselves.
these tier lists are also made for people in school.
Is it?
It's,
I don't know. We can.
these tier lists aren't made for full grown adults. They're made for anyone who'd be in dating age, which includes school age individuals.
So adults are not in dating age. All right, you heard it here
And
first.
I
If
said
you're an adult
includes.
and you're not dating anyone currently, what the fuck are you doing?
You're not in dating age.
You
Yeah.
you should already be married, have 2 houses and 3 cars and 2 kids. 22 years old. Come on, like why are you still dating? Get yourself together.
But I think this pertains to people that are still in school,
Like
sports and all that stuff.
that kind of mentality. That shows
Primary school, yeah.
That might be, I would say, bad but manageable.
That's where I am.
Yeah,
All right.
Dream SMP
Consensus.
fan. That's just, this is an issue. That's
I
just
don't even.
That's
What
just a
is?
Minecraft YouTuber. They have a giant Minecraft world, and they just videotape all these other Minecraft YouTubers doing. They write scripts and stories and just act out a giant fan made story thing on there, and people watch it. Some people
Alright.
die. Yeah, it's just a YouTube social media thing for kids. It's whatever.
It's a community. It's a
Yeah,
community.
it's just like watching a show that's still going on running, like every week or whatever they upload a video. I really don't know. I know what it is. So. In and out of relationships, so regularly.
Deal.
Deal breaker?
That doesn't bode well.
Is that
Why not? You're the last. You're the last stop in that line, Platypus. What's wrong with it?
That doesn't. Still
Right?
doesn't bode well.
Yeah,
But
come
you
on.
know
You
they're
can be the
interested in
change.
you.
You can be the
Yeah.
difference maker.
That shit ain't my job.
That'd be a deal breaker for me too.
All right, that's the first mutual deal breaker for everyone. Nothing against these individuals, I'm gonna say, but it's definitely something where they shouldn't be relying on others to break them out of this kind of habit or mental prison they're putting themselves in. They need to talk with people, friends, and whatnot, and actually resolve issues to fix this, because clearly there's a problem most likely with them with having issues with for commitment or whatever, self-confidence, other people that they keep getting drawn towards. It just depends, but that's something they need to take a break from trying to date and resolve. That's what I think. They need to get some answers for themselves. Is that what you guys think too?
Yeah, pretty much. They just something needs to be figured out. But I mean, if someone's in and out of relationships, it stands to reason the next one probably won't last very long until something gets worked out. So yeah,
They're looking for something to hold them over.
Yeah. Well, next one is
This is
communication issues. I was
this
almost
is probably one of
dyslexic.
my
I was almost
probably one
dyslexic
of
and
my
read the next one
favorite
after that.
ones.
Comprehension issues. Wait, what'd you say, Orik?
Probably one of my favorite ones to
Com-
talk about.
communication issues? All
that's
right.
a problem.
Well, you can
Like,
start. Tell us about
What
you
was
and
it?
your significant other and any communication issues you have. We're all ears. No, I'm just kidding.
Talking
I'm just kidding. Just what are your thoughts on communication issues for relationship red flag?
for me or Orik.
We'll start with Orik. I don't know
Oh,
if that's alphabetical. That's alphabetical.
if they have communication issues, especially if you're just starting a relationship, it's not awful. It's to be expected at that point. But if it's an ongoing issue, if you're like months into the relationship and neither of you two are able to come to consensus on how to even start communicating, that's a deal breaker. Bad but manageable, it's a deal breaker. It just goes downhill. If you can't figure out some sort of foundation. But for red flags for starting a relationship, it's not awful. That's to be expected. It's two new people with different perspectives trying to learn to be together.
I would put bad but manageable, like best case scenario, just because communication issues have come up before. Like a couple of my exes, and like I remember one of my exes wouldn't even like be willing to talk about anything, and I mean, that's a quick way to get to a dead end, at least
Yeah,
in
Yeah,
my.
that's a deal breaker.
in that particular case, yeah, that would make sense. This is why we don't have any communications, platypus. This is why we get along fine. Um,
Dead
oh,
straight.
sorry, hot mic. No, I understand that. From my personal experience, because I'm well aware of communication is very vital in a relationship and addressing tough points, and also that, like Orik said at the beginning, there is hesitancy with building trust. As a new person, testing waters. I would definitely say not awful. I would lean towards not awful. Um, I'm also good at addressing communication issues and identifying them when there's problems. Um, I may not be the best myself, but I can be like, this is where we're having a disconnect. And at some point, we need to discuss about it sooner than later, not keep letting it wait. I may not be ready to talk about it right now, but just ask later and we'll talk about it, or vice versa. It's not the whole you shouldn't go to bed angry thing, but you shouldn't go to bed assuming. That kind of stuff. You don't have to like someone or what someone said at the end of the day. But there needs to be clarity with thoughts and or intentions, which is communication. That's key for any relationship. Short, long distance, long term, short term, short distance, doesn't matter. Even professional relationships it doesn't have to be intimate. Even though this is a relationship red flag thing, just communication is key, and that's something a lot of the country has issues with. Everyone is getting very selfish and into themselves, especially with social media. I got a lot of thoughts on that, but I in general I would say not awful. Sorry, I can talk about that particular topic in depth for a long time.
Yeah, part of communication is learning to not talk for a long time every time.
And see,
Ooh.
Orik, this is why you and I have issues, because you don't shut the fuck up.
Burn.
I don't
She's
comprehend what you're putting down.
Yeah. Platypus, I need you to go pull him aside and, I don't know, beat his ass for me so I don't have to talk to him anymore.
done.
So next is comprehension issues. I don't know if this means reading or if it means like understanding comments like I need you to shut him up for me. That's sarcasm. What?
When I first read it, I really hoped it was reading issues, but I figured it would have said reading issues, like
I might have some comprehension issues because I almost clicked and said this a few times when I was trying to talk about communication issues. I was like, hold on, that's not the one I'm looking at.
But they would have said illiterate if it was an actual literacy concern. Comprehension issues is
Yeah, they
just
would say
can you can
illiteracy. So
yeah
Yeah,
what does comprehension issues mean then?
that's a
comprehension
strange
issue.
one.
Yeah.
It pretty much means to the effect of kind of like when you're communicating, is the other person able to understand and respond appropriately and in a manner that furthers the conversation or
Are they
subsequent
educated
actions?
enough to speak?
That could be one. But yeah, comprehension is more of just understanding and being able to act on it.
Yeah, because even with language barriers, people can understand each other, or people that English isn't their first language, or they have heavy accents. You can still communicate effectively. It's a matter of, just understanding properly or seeing from, I guess, the other person's perspective properly. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to change anything, but you have to be able to at least understand where they're coming from or why they see things the way they do.
Yeah,
Comprehension issues to me at the start of a relationship are bad but manageable. It kind of ties into communication in that you have to find a way to reach each other and actually find a way to talk and communicate and understand the other one. So if you're not able to get that comprehension issue figured out, it's just going to make it a rough and turbulent relationship. It's possible, but it's just going to be very difficult.
yeah. I mean, I would put it for me. It's either not awful or bad, but manageable. Guess it just depends on the severity and situation. But yeah, if it's not addressed, I could see it becoming a deal breaker. I guess is where I'm going.
Yeah, I would agree with not awful. If this is an issue that persists into like marriage and everything, then that's something that requires counseling, family therapy, whatever. It requires being addressed because that is a long term issue that you're not supposed to have with your significant other. And that you're supposed to both be relatively on the same wavelength and understand each other. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you understand each other because you're working as a unit. So I'd say not awful. It's expected at the beginning, but it's not something that should persist. And therefore, it's something that's tolerable and should resolve itself in due time.
Only text you at night. That's if you're an introvert, that's a good thing. because you spend your whole day having to be around people, and then when you're finally alone, all by yourself, you can respond at your own pace.
Yeah,
Um,
but if this is your significant other and they're only
doesn't change.
messaging
It
you,
doesn't change how I act. Doesn't change.
I only see it being an issue because it's like if your significant other doesn't have any friends, then that could be a problem.
I agree.
That's the only angle.
I would say it's not awful. Um, if it's also different if like they have a job or they're doing something where they're busy all day during the daytime and you just can't communicate with each other. Uh,
I
maybe
can
they're
understand
working.
working, yeah, like that, but
Yeah.
like at night, like that means nightfall, probably after dinner.
Oh yeah. Not even evening.
Yeah, like basically when they're getting ready for bed, they have like an hour or two before they go to sleep, and like, oh hey, what's going on? How are you doing?
You up?
Yeah, are you up? You up?
We didn't talk today. Hurry up. I gotta go to bed.
I got shit to do, literally.
I'd say it's not awful.
Platypus,
Yeah, yeah, probably not awful.
not awful. We don't have a lot of good things for red flags. Like,
The point is, they're red flags. They're not supposed to
oh
be
yeah,
good.
good point. Sorry,
Yeah. That.
I have a comprehension problem. I'm pretty sure after this. Already messing up a few times. Disrespects their own parents.
Deal
That's it.
What
breaker.
are your guys' thoughts?
Why would that ever be a good thing? Like, is your parent a super villain?
I mean, what if they're
Because
serial
otherwise,
killers? What if they're serial killers? You want someone that stands up for the right thing. They
Yeah,
could
they're
have an
not attract.
attraction.
They're not attracted to
well,
their serial killer
no,
Yeah.
parents.
it's
They actually.
well, what if they disrespect mom and then she just cuts her and that's it? Like, just provokes them
Like cuts them physically or cuts them like out of their life.
physically. Like, yeah,
They could be practicing hairdressing. I don't know.
Could be kind of hot. No.
I like scissors. They're pretty kinky. Um,
That would be a deal breaker for
Deal
sure.
breaker. Yeah, yeah. How do we define disrespect? Hold on.
Yeah, is this a misunderstanding or is this actually something that
Describes their exes as crazy, quote unquote.
that's right. I mean, don't a lot of people do that? I don't see it's an issue unless they're constantly talking about their ex, because then that's just bad form.
the way I read this is not saying it calls their ex crazy, like, oh yeah, they're just crazy. It's like describing them as being a crazy person, like everything they've done right or wrong that makes them crazy. So it seems like they're like really invested in it. And you can't blame them, they've spent time with them. Um
Yeah,
as
they
for
have yeah, they spend time with them. They have a passion. They have an investment in what happens. So they're gonna have a
exactly.
yeah. That's
So
expected.
I don't know if it definitely is not bad but manageable to me, but I don't know where else I'd put it.
I think it goes with what you said, platypus, where that's just kind of like the societal expected like response, like, "Oh, my ex was crazy." Everyone just says that. Um, Realistically, he probably just didn't connect fully. Not everyone's crazy. Statistically, a lot of people are not crazy technically. It's either just poor communication or not understanding yourself or your needs, and you just didn't get it from the person that you're with. And you maybe they're projecting or blaming the other person for not meeting their needs when maybe you didn't quite know what you wanted yourself. I don't know. It depends. Like you said, if they keep talking about it, then it's a problem with them. If it's like a one-off comment, like they're crazy, and they give like a story of them doing something very weird or obtrusive, then yeah, that can be kind of justified. Like they had their crazy moments, very weird, just abnormal for me. Um, I would say it doesn't really matter unless it actually becomes a problem, and then
Yeah,
they're just
that,
obsessed with their ex, and they're like, oh, they're so crazy, and they just keep talking about all this stuff. I'm like, what? Do you want to get back with them?
right.
Um, what you said doesn't really matter, right? Or was that just me?
Well,
That's
I
a
agree with that.
You agree with that? Okay.
same, I agree.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I haven't had any exes that did that. None that were crazy, and none that said their exes were crazy. So maybe I'm the
Outlier.
needle in the hay in the needle sack. I'm not sure. The outlier, yeah, that's better. With my experience, but I'm also just more aware of reality and how people are and relationships are and communication issues. So they cheated in the past.
That is bad but manageable at
Bad but
best.
manageable.
Unless they're a serial cheater. I mean, it depends on the
Obviously, you're
context.
not the person they cheated with. They're telling you that they cheated in the past. If they have to tell you that they cheated with you on someone, then that's a different story. But we're just assuming this is
The day they met you. Hey, I just cheated on someone. I know we just started seeing each other, but I've already cheated on you.
I'm about to cheat.
It's so romantic.
Yeah, I'm about to cheat. On what, a test?
Yeah.
A test.
It doesn't count if you just announce it.
Yeah,
Get out of
it
here.
doesn't count if you tell the teacher when you walk in you have the answer sheet. And they don't stop you in an open book test. I don't know. Bad but manageable. It's not like they are in and out of relationships constantly, which is an ongoing thing. They cheated in the past. Was it yesterday? Or was it like 5 years ago? Was it with every ex? Was it with just one? It requires a good conversation, so it's bad, but it's definitely manageable with communication and just thorough discussion of boundaries and seeing what they got out of the experience, what they learned from it or didn't learn.
Yeah, I would also say bad but manageable.
Agreed.
Alrighty then. Guilt tripping as a red flag. Constantly
Yeah,
guilt tripping you.
They love to take guilt and just trip him. They don't let it walk anywhere.
Yeah, no, so
I
Fire
made
at
my
will.
corny dad.
Fire at will, yep.
I made my corny dad joke for the day.
Deal breaker for me.
Yep.
I don't put up with it. You can do it once or twice, and if I'm at fault, I will accept it and I will bandwagon with you. You stupid piece of shit. Yeah, I know, right? Why the hell would he think that? But I don't just put up with that at all. If you start guilt tripping me, I shut you down immediately. Not like physically or anything. I end the conversation there, and or I walk away, or I just end it somehow in the conversation. I say, we're not doing this. You're not doing this. You don't have this kind of power. This is not how this works. And I definitely don't guilt trip. All right, I definitely don't try to guilt trip. Sometimes you can be like, hey, I really don't like how you did this, and you bring it up multiple times, and I guess that's technically guilt tripping, but it's also communication, like trying to get communication out there. Like, hey, this is a problem for me. We need to resolve this or figure out a way to compromise. But that's not guilt tripping.
Anything that tries to exert power over someone, like guilt tripping does, that's usually a very bad sign and a deal breaker.
Yeah. Relationship with a partner is supposed to be mutual. You both are equal.
Partnership.
Shit, what? That's did you just learn something today, Platypus?
What?
Did you just like? I said you need to be equal. You need to be mutual, and then just under your breath, you're like, shit.
I said partnership.
Oh, partnership.
Oh,
No,
no.
I just
Did
heard
not
you say
hear that
shit.
at all.
No, I said you got to be mutual. You're equal, and just under your breath, you're like, shit. Like, like you've been doing this wrong for years.
I kind of like that answer better. Let's just go with that.
Guys, I'll be right back. I gotta send a couple texts. It's late at night. Okay, yeah, partnership. Partnership, yeah. No guilt tripping allowed. If you do that, Michael Jordan meme, go get some help. Stop it.
Honestly.
Hiding the relationship.
I have experience with this one.
Trust me, so do I.
That's tricky. I mean, I guess I get the angle of like waiting a while to debut the relationship or info because maybe it's young, or maybe there's like some sort of like dynamic with your family, or there's a cultural component. But I mean, if it's just like a healthy type of thing, and then you're still hiding it from everyone, I don't know. I mean, that's at least questionable. Just there, I don't. There's like a lot of shit that could go into this one, but I'd still say that no matter what, that's not really a great thing.
So you'd say not awful.
It really just depends on the situation, but
Yeah, this is a really
yeah,
tough one to pin because from my own personal experience, side market is not awful. But that also comes from being introverted. You know, if you've never been in a relationship before and now you're in your first one, it's a big boundary to share with people like, hey, look, I have a big change in my life that none of us expected, things like that. Um, so that's why I'd say it's not awful because especially for first relationships, it's a lot tougher for people to come out and share. But for people that are in and out of relationships, they, then there's a different problem.
Yeah. I am contrary to the both of you. I say kind of a good thing. From personal experience, this is something I do for quite a while, and my partners have done in the past also, for different reasons. Um, so I'm a little biased. I think it's kind of a good thing. One, they're not like rushing to social media or within a couple days being like, "I have a new boyfriend" or "I'm doing this and that." To me,
Possessive in public.
yeah, they're not like
yeah,
showcasing you to everyone. They're still testing the waters with you. They're like, "Hey, let's see if how this connection goes." Well, before everyone starts interjecting and asking questions, let's build up each other's profiles. Of what we think of each other. Let's get to know each other better. My relationships have been like this, where I've spent definitely a couple months at least before I tell anyone I'm talking to this person that I really like. Um, you know, I have gotten to know them decently well, and I like them. I want to spend more time with them. We're not officially dating at that point because I'm definitely a slow roller, but
I think you're about to say slow reader.
you know what?
You got comprehension issues, we know.
I'm having a lot of issues lately. I'm happy. Not dyslexia. Let's see, comprehension. Okay, hold on. I'm happy reading issues is not on here. um, hiding a relationship, I'm okay with it. I don't think that now if they're still hiding it, when you're engaged or definitely married or
Married.
some stuff like that, depends on the job, I guess. If you have a very specific
Being
type of job,
married,
but
being married is a job. We know that.
yeah. If it gets like years into the relationship and like you've actually progressed, you're not just still like doing that on and off talking thing, but you're actually in a relationship. You make plans, you commit to doing stuff, you have a schedule, kind of. You socialize with each other's families or friends a bit, and you're still trying to hide it. It's one thing to hide it from social media. Social media is just a cesspool of whatever, you know.
yeah,
But hiding it from other friends and family still, I think that's the problem. I
yeah,
know people that they would get back with their partners after breaking up, and they hide it from people for like 4 to 6 months. I know multiple people like that. We also have a couple close friends that have had like 2 relationships since the last time we talked to them, and they haven't told anybody close to them, but their significant other posted on social media, and that's how we find out. It's like I don't blame our friends that do that, but I see that kind of stuff, and personally, I'm like, one party doesn't seem ready or consensual. So, um, I see it as
I
a good
wouldn't.
sign for like testing waters and trusting each other and like thorough discussion and communication, like with what each other want in the relationship.
Yeah, I wouldn't
yeah.
see this
I
as
mean,
a bad thing.
it's just yeah. I mean, it's just conditional. Then
It is
like
everyone. It is everyone is different. My first girlfriend, uh, she had dated multiple individuals before me, so it kind of, if she told her parents right away, it just kind of looked like, oh, here's the next dude for the next couple months, kind of a thing. I lasted longer than most of them, but that's why she doesn't just right away tell everyone. She's like, or her sister or her family or whatever. That's just like, here's how it is. You know, I can understand that. And for me, I'm like, I just don't do that in general. Like, even my roommates didn't know for a couple weeks. Um,
Just, just want to interrupt real quick. A little bit of sass on my end. When you said you lasted longer than the other than the other relationships did. I was like, that's because you can't comprehend what you're in. It took you a
Yeah,
long
I
time
was a
to
little
figure out that
tense. It's
there's a
like, yeah,
problem.
she tried to break up 2 months ago. I was like, wait, what? And then just kept going up to her house. Yeah, we're not dating anymore, Dean. What? Yeah, no,
I
I'm
just
not
told
dense.
people.
I'm not stupid.
I know, but that's why I was laughing. Is just playing along with the
I'm in my own
comprehension
head
issue
too
joke.
much. Yeah, just like we don't have any problems. This is why they're not crazy.
Mhm.
I put it kind of a good thing. Did I change your guys' minds?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, again, it just depends on the situation. Like, it could be good because I agree with the things you were saying, but then I'd see other situations where it would kind of be a shitty thing to do. So it just, yeah, it just depends on the situation.
Given the parameters, I'd say not awful because it's too vague to really encompass one thing.
I will say kind of a good thing, just to just to average it
You're
out into
using your
doesn't.
golden buzzer.
Nope, nope. I'm saying kind of a good thing, so it can average out into doesn't really matter. Um, or I'll say definite good thing. To shift it over a tier. Playing the system a bit. I think yeah, it's definitely conditional, but I think in general, like most people are hiding their relationships, even if it's just for a week or two. They're not like they may tell a friend, but they're not like starting to broadcast everyone. Everyone hides their relationships when they just start out. Usually, people are meeting via text and social media and going on a date. They're like, "Hey, I'm going on a date." You know, they tell one or two people in case someone goes missing, but or they're losing a kidney. But most people are not like day one or week one or whatever, like, this is my new boyfriend or girlfriend. I think this is just normal behavior, hiding the relationship. The problem is if it
Yeah,
persists beyond when you've already established that you're dating for a while. You're comfortable with each other. It's been a while. You're both on the same terms. Then it's an issue. But that's not most dating or relationship things. I think this is just normal.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think we're in agreement. I say we should move on to the next one, because we still got quite a few more to go through.
Fine,
Um,
fine. I'm keeping it kind of a good thing. Or what do you guys say? Not awful?
Either way, I don't. I mean,
it's hard to
we've all
place it.
like said our like gave our whole spiel on this. I think we're basically in agreement, or at least we see what the other means. Like, if you want to put it there, or just move it in the green to average it out. Like, either way.
I'll put it there. Doesn't really matter.
All right.
Yeah.
All right,
Cool.
constantly making you feel dumb.
Nope.
That that kind of aligns with guilt tripping, so I'm gonna put that as a deal breaker.
Yeah, that is no. Fuck that.
Hard to be in a relationship when the other party just doesn't help you feel up. They help. They make you keep feeling down.
Not
Yeah,
down. Dumb.
it's an
Down's a different thing.
asshole move.
Well, if they're making you feel dumb, it's gonna put you down.
Yeah.
Side effect.
Unless it's a kink.
Talk
No,
dumb to
we're
me.
just gonna assume it.
Talk dumb to me.
No, it's talk smart to me. So, anyways, when a black hole receives light. Ugh, stupidity, ignorance, cluelessness. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm tired. Let's move on. Next one. So yeah, deal breaker needs to be reassured frequently.
Uh, I mean,
This doesn't really matter to me. Um,
I can see the argument why someone who needs to be reassured frequently would be a deal breaker or bad but manageable. Especially for those that either don't have the mental capacity or patience to deal with that. But for the most part, everyone's got confidence issues, and at the same time, everyone wants to just feel desired.
or they have general stresses or anxieties they deal with.
Exactly. So I would say this doesn't really matter. It's not awful. It is not the not awful category. I'd say it doesn't really matter because it's just a part of any relationship to support the other one And some people have more needs for that than others. Some people may just be depressed and just need the steady stream of positivity to keep them from getting worse.
Or
Whatever.
some people are just more emotional in general, and so they
Yeah,
go
there's
up and down easily about even minor stuff, and then just a quick reassurance or a couple good words of in good faith, or I'm here for you, or yeah, don't worry about it. It's just such and such, and that makes them feel
exactly.
better. It's whatever. It's a few words. You're showing you're invested in them and you're listening to them. That's all they need to feel like they are not alone and they can handle the situation. That's a really easy job to do, especially if you're actually invested in the relationship. If you just say the same thing like "it's okay, honey," and like 10 years later, you're like, "Wait, well, you're talking about your stepsister's problems? I wasn't listening." Like, then it's an issue. But just reassuring someone frequently and showing that you're actively listening to them, that's not a to me that's not a real issue.
No.
Doesn't really matter. It is an issue, but that's just a personal trait. It doesn't matter to me. Platypus, do you do this a lot?
I mean,
It's okay.
no, I was gonna say I basically agree with you guys. I just,
It's okay. Say what you
I
want.
caught on.
Yeah.
God damn it. But no, like it's like I guess I could see where that type of thing might be a problem if it got excessive, but
Yeah,
I
if
mean, I
it's
guess anything would
obsessive
be a problem.
or if it's like a disorder thing, that's one thing, but that still can be treated or managed. There's
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I guess if anything is excessive, then it's a problem. So, you know, in that same vein, I don't really see how reassuring your significant other is a bad thing.
Yeah, so I think we're all in agreement. It doesn't really
if the
matter.
word frequently wasn't there, I'd put it in kind of a good thing at least. But because it's
Yeah.
frequently, it shows that it's definitely a trait. But holds you to double standard.
No,
Deal breaker.
get that shit the fuck out of here. I mean, sorry for the French, but that's gonna
The
be a fuck
German, get it
no.
right. Get it right, you
9.
non-linguistics history individual. Lack of
There
education on
was
linguistics history.
after you said there's a pause after you started that sentence. Like, is this like a fill in the blank racial slur that you're just gonna leave there? Cultural slur is like, what's it? Why is there a pause here?
Yeah. Holds you to double standard is definitely an issue that I don't know. Maybe you could get by it, but that seems like a tougher character trait to iron out.
No doubt. I mean, I'm biased though. That's one of my top pet peeves is hypocrisy.
You hate that more than smoking?
Yeah, at least a little bit.
I don't know. I'm ready to put smoking at the top of that list still. I'll take a in and out of relationship over a smoker any fucking day. Yeah, hold you to double standard. Yeah, we'll put it in deal breaker.
All right. Next one is energy drinks. Now, I know people that love energy drinks. I'm not a fan of them. In fact, I never use them. But I
Drink
don't
them.
think this is an issue.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's not an unhealthy amount of energy drinks, whatever
The
you
only way
can.
it'd be unhealthy is if they are a pro gamer. And at that point, that's just the diet. That's not unhealthy. That's necessary for survival.
Is Mountain Dew an energy drink?
No,
Nope.
Okay, we're
just
all
makes your pee pee
consensus.
small, which is a myth. It does not actually do that. Don't come at me. I know it's a joke. That's why I said it. Some people get offended when you keep making that joke.
They don't
I
want
don't know why. I don't know why you'd get offended by that joke for drinking Mountain Dew. I don't think that's the reason. All right, this is an issue. I think there's a couple on the next row that are like that. Golf player slash fan.
what? That's not an issue.
Yeah, if you have a problem with that, I think you have other issues. A cheerleader, if they're a cheerleader, or I guess they were a
Again,
cheerleader.
Oh, a cheerleader's a deal breaker. We all know that.
I mean, maybe for someone our age, but like, I,
No, unless they're on a pro sports team for the cheerleading, which is a job. If they do it in their free time for fun, or if they coach it or teach it, that's one thing. But if they're just actively cheering, that's not awful to me.
yeah, I don't see it as
everyone's got their passions, everyone's got their hobbies. If they like to just cheer and they go to special events or whatever, and they do that because people want them to, then go ahead if that's what gives them joy. It also
I mean, it's a sport. Like, they have meets and stuff. I think like kind of like gymnastics, and they'll do routines and stuff. So
yeah,
you
exactly.
know,
See, I was making a joke when I said that this was not, or when I said that this was an issue.
Oh, I
But
meant
I think this is an issue question mark category.
yeah,
basically, it's a
yeah,
sport.
yeah. This is
Exactly.
an
Yeah.
issue. Question mark. This is an issue. Side note, never mind. I'll talk about that off stream. It's about asking a question. Battle
Battle
Royale
Royale
games,
games.
I don't care what the.
Xbox gamer, PlayStation gamer, PC gamer, sports video games. If they're
Hold on.
buying
Now we're
FIFA,
looking.
Sports video
hold on a
Now
games are
second. If they
trash.
only buy FIFA, um,
Or
or 2K,
what's it called? Madden.
yeah, if they only buy that, anyways. Soccer player fan, football player fan, baseball player fan, hockey player fan, trust issues, video game. Why is trust issues in the middle of that? Hold on a second. Video games, a war video game. Well, yeah, why was trust issues in the middle of all the video game stuff? Um,
hold on. I would argue that football player fans are awful.
You said awful.
Yeah.
A lot of them are. You're talking about the ones that scream at the TV and shit and
Yeah,
get
you realize
angry, like legitimately angry if their team
yeah,
loses.
you realize that TV manufacturers and retailers increase their prices for the big game and keep the prices up like the Super Bowl just because they know there's going to be a lot of TVs that get broken. They don't raise it because of any other reason other than the fact they know people are going to be having to buy TVs, not to watch the game, but because the game went bad.
Damn. Yeah, that's annoying. Especially if they like bad teams. My dad liked the Redskins, so you know that they lose most of the time, and
hey,
it's
hey,
like,
hey,
God
hey.
fucking damn it. It's Sunday, so he's gonna be mad again because of the Redskins. Shit.
He's intentionally looking for reasons to get mad externally.
So yeah, most of these I would say, especially the video game ones, the Xbox gamer, all that, I would say those are not an issue. But when we get to like the soccer player fan, the football player fan, I particularly the football player fan, I'd say that's not awful. I mean, it's pop. I'm not going to put that in the this is an issue category. I'd personally have that in the not awful section.
All right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I can't go against it.
But
War video game.
soccer player fans, that'd be the doesn't really matter if this is an issue, but it's just specifically football that I'd say that's not awful.
American football, yeah.
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 War video games. People are like, "Oh, it's war. You're fighting in war. You're playing war. You're killing people." It's just another
But
genre of video games.
it's a
That's literally
game,
what
and I
battle
mean,
royale is.
right?
Yeah,
'Cause
it's just
it doesn't even have to be like people versus people. It could be aliens or something. Like,
it could be
but
worms. Um.
yeah,
All right, so I think that's it for the this is an issue. Um, that whole row of just topics. Doesn't understand simple pop culture references.
Wait, did you
that's
go through
not
trust
really.
issues?
Oh, we totally no. I put that in the wrong spot on the list. It won't let me put it. Trust issues. Yeah, let's go back. Right in the middle of video games was trust issues.
Let's say not awful.
Yeah, everyone's got problems. You're meeting
Yeah,
someone new. Not awful.
I'd be fine with that.
Not real much to say for this. Well,
Trust issues is not awful. It's because we're talking about new relationships, red flags for
yeah,
a new relationship.
that's not an awful issue.
It's
If it
expected.
persists, then yes, that's a problem. But if it doesn't, I was gonna say initially I'd put it doesn't really matter because that's expected. But if this is something that persists, then it's not awful, but it's definitely something that needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep it at not awful. Doesn't understand simple pop culture references.
That I don't see it as really a problem. It
It's
That's,
not
might be
I'd
a
say
awful.
little
that's
bit
kind
of
of a
It's not awful. As a man of culture.
that's kind of a good thing.
a slight bummer, but I mean,
Yeah, I say slight bummer. Um, I make a lot of memes and jokes and references. So if they don't understand it, then that kills my joy and excitement in the moment. So as a
I'd say it's kind of a good thing.
what?
I'd say it's kind of a good thing, but that's because I don't catch on to all of them.
Yeah. All right, so not awful. Controlling.
that is gonna be a deal breaker.
A deal breaker.
I thought,
What?
but
No.
Platypus, I thought you liked someone being controlling in the bedroom.
Different conversation.
Different
Oh,
conversation.
okay.
We're not talking about. I mean, what?
No, no, that's I'm all right.
Okay. No, that's a deal breaker too. Someone, same thing like we talked about earlier. Someone just literally trying to control and have power over the whole relationship. That's a deal
Yeah,
breaker.
control the power dynamic.
Like
Very
I'm
next is
on
very
that.
secretive.
Um, I don't know how to think about that. I believe in privacy. I think that's important, but I guess there is like a threshold where it starts to get kind of creepy too. So I don't know. But then what if it's like it's like Batman? Like that would be cool. I
You find
think.
out your significant other is a bat. Is a bat. Oh my god, is Batman? Um, not a vampire. They're a bat. Um, I'll stop talking. You finish your thought.
No, I mean that pretty much is the thought. That, you know, privacy is important, but then it could cross over into creepy territory. But then I don't know, like it'd be pretty fucking awesome if it was Batman. So, or whoever the fuck. But
Or what
yeah,
if they were the Joker? That's even better. They come home and like, long day, honey, man. My ass is hurting.
oh no.
Why is your face all red? I was hanging from a tree for like an hour after saving a cat. Uh, got stuck. Cat ran away. No proof. Um, very secretive. I am okay with it. Like you said, privacy. Everyone's got secrets. That comes down to trust issues. I don't care if people are like to themselves. They're secretive. There's like you don't have to share everything in a relationship. You shouldn't share everything in a relationship. You should have some sort of sense of individuality and independence because you are a team together. You're not one person. You are, two individuals agreeing to live together, but you still have to have some sense of identity and whatnot. So, you know, they could be secretive about work if their work requires it, or about, let's say, sometimes some drama in the family that they're waiting a day or two for information before they share it with their significant other. Like, all right, now that I have the information, let me see what they think about it. You know what I mean? Some people are like that.
Yeah, I would say it's not awful.
I say it doesn't really matter. I don't see it as bad of a red flag as like it is what it is. It just happens.
Yeah, I mean, worst case, it's like Dexter or something.
Yeah. The cartoon. Sorry.
That does apply. Both Dexters do apply.
I mean, attraction to serial killers. Are we moving that one? um,
yeah,
you guys okay with doesn't really matter?
Yeah, that's
that's
fine.
fine.
Yeah. Also, like this kind of falls into trust issues and stuff. People that like take their partner's phones and like read all their text messages or phone calls and stuff. That's
That's
very
not.
obtrusive. Yeah, that's very obtrusive, and even if you don't have anything to hide, that's still like, hey, these are my conversations with my friends or family. These are my memes. I didn't want to share them with you. You know, these are where I get my jokes. Now you're stealing my Now you're stealing my material. Now how am I funny to you? Um, or they could read in on friends' discussions where they're trying to abide by you but not your partner about a situation going on that doesn't need to be shared.
Yeah,
So I can understand being secretive. Just depends on each person and their relationships and a bunch of things. But I'm okay with it. I think it's fine. Doesn't respect boundaries.
No,
Oh, that's so hot. You know they're
that's
gonna
a
get
no go.
close.
You say no, and that's not in their dictionary.
Oh boy.
Orangutan. um, bad but manageable.
Yeah, especially if they don't intend to. Like they just come from a culture where they, especially for people that come from cultures where there is no such thing as personal space,
Yeah,
or or they share everything with
See,
everyone.
like my partner's family. So there that persists. So different culture.
Yeah, bad but manageable. All right.
Doesn't like when
Doesn't
you're with friends.
no. What do you mean? We
that's a
need to
deal
get.
breaker.
That's
If they,
not
if they,
gonna work.
yeah, if they don't like when you're with friends, that's a deal breaker.
Yeah, I guess that's a bit controlling or extreme selfishness.
Well, let me restate that. It says doesn't like when you're with friends. It doesn't say doesn't allow you to be with friends.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's not controlling in that sense. So I would say that's bad but manageable then. I was
I'd
reading
still
too
put
quickly.
deal breaker. Well, for me personally,
I would
because that's destined to create friction.
I would agree with
Like,
Orik, and like what you're saying, it would create friction. But again, it's not like they don't allow you or they're creating all these ultimatums and whatnot. They just,
They could just be really worried about your friend group that you have.
but that's not everyone. Not everyone's
No,
dealing
no,
with
no.
drug
And again, I
dealers and
know
whatnot. Is
we're
there
trying
you go.
to we're trying to rationalize our decision. So of course we'll find something that makes it work. But I think it's not per se a deal breaker as long as you're allowed to be with your friends and they're not that controlled.
Platypus, didn't mean to cut you off. I know you said it was a deal breaker. Why is that a hardcore deal break for you?
well, I mean, I've had that type of thing happen before, and it just. I guess my thing is that it's like, well, I'm gonna still hang out with my friends. I mean, they're my goddamn friends, so that just means that this is gonna keep being an issue.
They were
Like
here
in
before you. Most
yeah,
of them, yeah.
I mean, that's. I guess that's how I view it instead of just like your partner's not actively preventing it, but then I don't know, it just sounds like some heinous rom com freaky ass bullshit, and I don't know. I would still put it in deal breaker for me, but I'd see where y'all are coming from.
It's very close. It is very close to the line. I would agree with bad but manageable simply because of the wording of it. Doesn't like it when you're with friends. Not that could, and that comes down to I guess more communication, and that could turn into a deal breaker if there's just something that can't be resolved. But
Exactly.
initially,
But
it's like we can have a
there's room for
conversation about this
growth.
at least.
There's
Yeah,
room for growth.
yeah. Unlike
All
smoking, there's room for growth. There's no coming back from people that smoke.
Hmm.
Constantly puts you down. I put down smokers all the time. We got a friend.
we have a couple.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing.
definitely a good thing. All right, Orik, you agree?
We're all we're all agreeing that constantly putting someone down is a good thing.
Yeah. Next,
I'd say kind of a good
kind
thing.
of a good thing. All right.
Yeah. It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone.
You know what?
Some people take it very personally.
You know what? This group of friends came around one. We formed around one particular kink. Um,
Yeah, so for
this
our
is how we
friend,
got
it's
together.
perfect. This is perfect.
Uh, but honestly, constantly puts you down. That's a deal breaker.
It's mean as shit.
You can do that with your friends because they're your friends. That's their job. Keep you humble.
But not for a relationship,
And
correct?
Not
also
a.
fun.
Yeah, yeah. Won't.
Wow, we still don't have anything that's kind of a good thing or a definite good thing.
Well, there's still red flags.
I know. Just wanted
Definitely,
to point that out.
definitely. Won't try out your hobbies.
I
Honestly,
just
I can see
Either
that. I
way.
can see that as kind of a good thing, or doesn't really matter.
I'd say it doesn't really matter because they just may not be interested.
Yeah, and that's okay. Again, it's two individuals agreeing to be a unit, being a team. It's not they're supposed to be the same person. If they like your hobbies, awesome. Then you have someone to do them with or go to events with. If they don't like them, as long as you guys respect each other or give each other space to do the hobby so that you can keep your identity and your passions, good. That's how it should be.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my only issue is like I would kind of have an issue if there is like zero willingness to even take a look at anything I'm into, or at least just try it once. I'm not saying you have to like it, but if you're totally unwilling to like pay attention to anything I'm interested in, it's
Like the wording itself, won't try out your hobbies. They're like, cool, you do you. I'm not going to do it at all.
yeah.
Okay, with
I
that,
mean,
I would agree to lower it to like doesn't really matter instead of kind of a good thing. It's not like they don't have the same hobbies; it's they won't try them. That's something maybe in time you can persuade them to do, especially if you're trying out their hobbies with them. Some compromise, but at the end of the day, it isn't close to a deal breaker. Were
Agreed.
you thinking doesn't really matter, or like not awful or something? Platypus.
maybe not awful.
All
I
right.
don't know. And
Well,
again, it's more just like the principle of like being unwilling to even just
yeah.
be like, what's platypus into? But that's the only two. I mean, it's not like it's no fuck them. They don't like Dead Space
I
and
don't like
Looney
I don't like
Tunes.
corn husk weaving. It's not for me.
It's my hobby to go in and out of relationships, but they won't try it with me.
I'm not touching that one.
It's like scuba diving. We go down together. We should come up together. Um. All right. I'll put it in the middle. Of doesn't really matter. Extremely indecisive. Extremely. Any
Going for the
ideas?
low
I could
hanging.
make
I'm
I
going
could
for the
make the
low.
obvious joke of I don't know where to put this, and I'm
I
not
was
gonna
about
make.
to go for the low hanging fruit and say that myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yes. But I'm a better
Let-
comedian than that.
Let's get
Um,
that out of the way. We're done with it. Okay. So
um, no. Platypus. You probably have an opinion on this.
If it's an extreme, that's not a good thing. But I don't know, maybe not awful. Because I mean, I guess you could still just decide for them in a lot of instances. I guess either this is an issue or not awful for the category.
especially for a new relationship, it's something that people can grow from. They don't have to be extremely indecisive all their life because, especially if you knock it into their system, like, hey, we're going to be together. But let's say tomorrow I get killed by a car, you're going to have to make some decisions. You can scare them into starting to learn to make decisions in some way, but
Or forcing them to
uh,
make the decision so that they can start.
exactly. But you can do it in a comforting way, not necessarily through fear factors. So,
You don't do it with big decisions. You do it with small ones, and you give them
yeah,
easy options. And it's like
I'd say it's bad but manageable because you can help someone manage it and get out of it.
I would agree. It's not awful. There's a lot of worse stuff like smoking.
Are you saying it's
Um,
the not awful category or
not
just
awful.
that it's not?
Not awful category.
Okay.
All right. Well, gentlemen, I think that's a good spot to stop at. No motivation in life. I think we're all kind of brain dead right now because it's very late. I am tired. Um, and we're only halfway through the list, so I'm kind of losing that motivation right now. In life to go through more relationship problems. I don't have those right now, and I don't want to deal with them or think about them for another hour. So, how about we finish this in a part two? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
fine with that.
Yeah, yeah. All right, we'll save this up. We've got a lot of stuff left on the list that'll be interesting, and you can read them if you're looking at the screen. I don't want to call out a couple of them that Dr. Pepper that I'm interested in, but we'll get to that
All right.
later.
That one's got my golden buzzer. No one else gets to comment on it.
Yeah, the golden buzzer. Don't forget. None of you guys want to use it right now, right? Nothing.
Nah, I'll save it for
Saving it for
No.
the
later.
very end. Saving it for the
Mine,
very end.
mine's used on Dr. Pepper or root beer. That's my goal right now.
All right. I'll save it for the very end, mine, when I see the final list. So, anyways, yeah, we'll figure out how to save this. Here's what we got so far, everybody. We have nothing and kind of a good thing, and nothing and definitely a good thing for red flags. What is definitely a good thing for a red flag? Definitely a good red flag.
That's one way of looking at it. I think the other way of looking at it is like it's not as bad a red flag as what they think.
Oh, it's like it's not actually a red flag. Well, wouldn't that be
Yeah.
this is an issue? Question mark. Why do we say this is an issue? This is an issue category.
Well, because yeah, that's a category because someone having hot chips and spicy food, that's not really a deal breaker for a
That
relationship.
shouldn't be a flag to begin with. That shouldn't even be
No,
on
it
this
should
list.
not be.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Having energy drinks should not be a flag. Things like that.
We gotta. So hopefully we'll find something that's kind of a good thing or definitely a good thing. Of the smallest of red flags, that might actually be helpful, I guess. But we'll
A
get
good
there.
flag for a red. Yeah, a good red flag. Something that's a good sign.
Yeah, we'll get there. Something that still obviously needs attention to, but it's like that's good. I was almost there with hiding their relationship, kind of a good thing, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Well, all right. I think right about now is as good a time to wrap it up as any. We
Yeah,
can
I'm just rambling. Sorry.
We look forward to possibly filling those last two categories next time. But so, thanks everybody for tuning in to Unfiltered Pineapple. I'm your host, Platypus. Again, I'm with Orik and Dean, and we will see you again soon. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and get in on all of our cool shit. So, yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Peace.